This episode brought to you by Cody's Tonsils. Pour one out for two fallen homies.
This is Hot Drop, where we bring you premier PUBG analysis and two-man drops. I'm John.
And I'm Dano. We stream Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/HOTDROP_podcast. The Discord link and the hotline number are in the show notes. Our topics for today include the tournament results, our first ever Xbox PUBG tournament, news and updates for each platform, and the main event, or shall we say, your care package this week, is some strategy talk, specifically about best practices for flanking. Let's get into it.
Rip Cody.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he's actually doing well. I don't know if he's actually doing well, but he's at least messaging us.
He's alive. He's step alive. One. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had his tonsils out, an elective surgery at an adult age. Never a good idea, I don't think. I don't think you want to do that. So,
except for how many times he got tonsillitis in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Probably his whole life.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. They also did some other cosmetic work in there. He's going to be a completely different man when he comes out of that. Yeah. He wanted to look more like me. I'm beautiful, and I understand, but no, he's recovering. It's day 3 right now. He's managed to choke down some applesauce, so that's a win. Mm-hmm. But he can't speak, so it's just us right now for this episode. But he'll be back and stronger than ever. I guarantee it.
With his golden pipes.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, no. What if his voice is completely different and he can't sing anymore?
That would be horrible.
That would be really weird.
And what if he can't hear it because he's so used to it already, so he just still thinks he can sing?
And he's completely off pitch?
Yeah, tone deaf.
No. Well, at least you guys had the honor of being here and listening to his dulcet tones over the past 73 episodes? Four episodes?
This is the 4th?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Nice.
Or not. Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah. Quick reminder that the top 10 is a monthly contest. Submit your best clips. Only one submission per person. Submissions close on the last day of the month. And winners get a Hot Drop sticker pack with an exclusive sticker that you can only get by winning.
You can't buy this.
You can't. Definitely cannot.
Mm-mm.
And they get mailed straight to your door.
Yeah. No, you cannot buy the sticker. You have to win it. You have to earn it. So far, Point Click's the only one who's done it. And it might be because I haven't done the top 10 for November and December yet.
Maybe. Doesn't mean you shouldn't submit your clips.
That's right. Challenge of the week? I haven't heard much about this recently. Have you?
I haven't. It might be because PCD was dealing with the tournament and holidays and everything like that. So it might just be a more, busy time of the year.
Yeah, back burner for the challenge, but it's okay.
Yeah.
The current challenge, I know that there is a current challenge running that no one has submitted a submission for. Submitted a submission.
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, that was good. It's take a VIP to the end. It's a protect the president kind of challenge. So
it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's so hard, and that might be why people don't play it or haven't tried it because, well, if you're like us, you don't have a lot of time to play. So I don't really want to be the president because I want to use a weapon. But that's what it is. If at the end of the game, your squad mate is alive and they have not used a weapon about the entire game, they win the challenge, and you get an emote. So would the president get the emote, or would the entire team get an emote?
I think they would have to agree on one because we've got limited number of emote slots. We can't just go throwing out squad emotes.
Yeah, no. What do you think this is? We're not Oprah.
Yeah.
One person gets an emote.
That's right.
Yeah, suck one. No, so actually that's a good point. So as we progress, we're going to run out of emote spots, and we'll just start deleting them from the back up. So right now we have...
Or at least used up.
That? We have 6 slots left.
Time and usability.
Yeah, there's some in here that just are never used, so bye. So, yeah.
And there's no way to increase that, right?
No.
It's not related to nitro or anything. It's just... You get straight 50 or whatever it is.
Yep. Can't even pay for more. It's not even pay to win, Discord. What the hell?
I would pay to win this. This would be worth it. Yeah.
So would I. Sucks. Anyway.
Xbox tournament, which you participated in.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was so much fun.
Tell us about it.
Huge thank you to Point Click Dead for organizing. Huge thank you to Jamie for scoring. Huge thank you to ITT Tom for scoring after Jamie went to bed. Just fantastic. The problem that we had, and this is more than slightly irking to me. This is dumb as hell.
Ooh. Did you hear that? Is that what you?
Cody saying yes. It is dumb as hell. Carry on. Dumb as hell. Just choked on my spit. I'd really like to talk about how dumb as hell that is.
Dumb as hell.
You're so dumb. Really dumb. For real.
Dumb as hell. Beyond comprehension how dumb as hell this is. So picture the scene, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the week, so much hype. Pumped, psyched, ready to rock. Tournaments coming up. It's advertised left and right. Twitter, Instagram, all the places. Posted it in forums. People coming in from the outside, ready to go. 2 p.m. hits. Day of the tournament. 1 hour before start, right? Ready to go. Log into Discord. About to check what the latest is. Discord. Connecting.
Oh, no.
Discord goes down. For a solid hour, I could not get onto Discord. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe people are in lobbies. Maybe Xbox is heating up. Turn on my Xbox. Can't party up. Xbox Live services down.
What?
Yes.
Same time?
Same time. 2 p.m. on Saturday. Dropped both services. So we couldn't get any information, couldn't log in, couldn't do anything. Shockingly, people stuck around, powered through the 2-hour wait, and we had the tournament anyway. But this is dumb as hell. That was dumb as hell. I don't understand it. That never happens. Discord goes down maybe like 20 minutes at a time. No, it went down for a solid hour. And then at the same time, Xbox Live goes down. Just unreal. Dumb as hell. But it was okay because the tournament was a flying success, I have to say. Due to you guys hanging in there, making sure that we kicked this off and it played through to the end. We got all 4 maps in. 20 teams, all there, all competing for first place. Incredible turnout. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to the people that promoted, spread the word. Thank you especially to Doc777. Completely random guy comes into our Discord, says, hey guys, I have a pre-made scoring sheet. Do you want to use it? I'm like, hell yeah, we do. Gave us a Google Doc for inspiration so we could keep track of scoring. It was awesome for him to do that. Thank you for literally everyone that I forgot to mention. It was flawless, I think. The execution of the tournament was great. We had some issues with Xbox. We had some people dropping out. I disconnected. I actually didn't play the Miramar match because I dropped out. And because of how I did. And I even said right beforehand, I was like, hope no one crashes. And then I was the one who crashed.
But I shouldn't have brought attention to it.
You know, I didn't really want to play Miramar anyway, so it was all good. I got to eat dinner, hang out with my wife a little bit, and then I got back in for Savage at the end. So it was great. Congrats to Team Soccer Moms, Pappy Chul, probably butchered that name. I'm sorry. And Kilos was the ones who took first place. We're going to do more like this coming soon. We've got more tournaments on the way for different platforms. I think mobile potentially might be next. We've got PC Community Night coming up this month, which we have to announce the date of. Still deciding about that because Cody is dead and we can't talk to him. Just fantastic. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait for more.
Woo!
Woo! I think in lieu of Cody, you're going to have to yell.
The Xbox box!
What's in the box?
Console Dev Report. They actually had one this week because, you know, it's bi-weekly now.
Bi-weekly.
Is that the voice of Cody again?
Oh, wait. This is also Cody in the back.
He's going to rip his stitches. Don't do that. So this was interesting. It's not really talking about what's coming. This is more of like an implementation thing, how to achieve better performance. And this all focuses on LOD, which stands for level of detail.
I like this, by the way, real quick. Just the fact that they're giving this kind of detail is cool. And this is the stuff we've asked for. We can't complain about it. Even though there hasn't been any updates, it's cool to know what they're working on. That's all.
Right. And I think this isn't so much like what they're working on, but more of like an explanation of what they've already implemented, how they've achieved better performance in the past.
Yeah.
So level of detail is, they say, is used to strike the optimal balance between performance and quality visuals for the best gameplay experience possible. Basically, you can have better visuals but lower performance, or you can have better performance or lower visuals. And the ideal is that things that are noticeable have the highest level of best graphics, right? The best visuals. And then you only focus on those things so that you can reduce the visuals of things in the background, things far away, so that you can have better performance.
Makes sense.
Yeah, an example of this is like the Play-Doh buildings. It's not ideal when it happens, but they're trying to keep the game going and focus on loading everything in order to, be able to play this. So it basically loads in with a lower level of detail, which goes from 2 to 0. 2 is the lowest level of detail and 0 is the highest. So basically the Play-Doh is somewhere like between 2 and 1 or something like that. And ideally these will jump up to 0 once they're fully loaded.
Okay.
And that timing is highly dependent upon hardware.
Right.
But anyway, that's the explanation of why you see Play-Doh building. They also, I think we talked about trees.
We did.
Didn't we have that last week?
Yeah, that was the GPU instance calling or something like that, where you only have a call once to render X number of trees, but they all look the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And so far away, they look different because of this, basically, the level of detail that's involved.
Because you just don't need that level of detail from things rendered so far away that you're not interacting with them.
Exactly. So there's a few different level of detail implementations that they're using. When I first read this, I thought these were separate options, but these are all running simultaneously.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So Mesh LOD is related to your character model.
Is this like the texture of your clothing and stuff, or is this something else?
Yeah, it's the like details in the model. So, which I said. So like the facial features, anything else that could be like smoothed out or like, dumbed down as you move farther away. Probably clothing details included in there, equipment, all that stuff.
Makes sense. Yeah.
That's all the model details. The next one is bone LOD. This is the number of active bones during animations. So basically the animations will be less detailed and less like fluid as you move further away. Because the way you animate things is you have different rigid bodies and bones in them with hinges or whatever that then you record like an animation. Something along those lines. I'm not an animator, but that's kind of my understanding.
This makes total sense. So we're going to talk about mobile a little bit later, but I played a mobile game and that's something I noticed. Characters at a distance would just do this like janky, like there'd be only like 3 animation sequences for a run, right? So you're standing and then like the knees like halfway up, then all the way up. And it would just like between those 3 and it would just be like this janky running because it's trying to cut down on the number of animation calculations.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is all for performance. And then the last one, which is based on what they said, it sounds like this was developed in-house in something that they custom made.
Okay.
It's called Anim Node LOD. So like animation node LOD. And this is for, I think, things that don't necessarily relate to bones. Because I think it's just more specific animations rather than just removing the number of bones in the animation.
Okay.
So it's dependent upon the character size in relation to the whole screen size. So the smaller the character is on the screen, the lower level of detail it will use. They didn't give exactly the numbers, but like if somebody's really, really far away, they're not going to worry about providing a huge level of detail. This also works with scoping, so that still is a percentage of the screen, right? So it detects that and then increases the level of detail. So what this means is if you were to kind of take a snapshot of what your computer renders from far away, if a character was super far away, they would look like generic and standing models you might have seen in like, I know I've seen these in PC games, the like cross standing, like floating around in the sky, not really doing anything, but arms like in a cross. Have you seen that before?
I think I know what you're talking about. Like
I used to see it in Team Fortress sometimes with like very high ping people.
Yeah. Are you talking about like when Fallout was doing this? With like,
did Fallout do that?
It was just
they're
people
probably
floating and there's no animations loaded.
Yeah, basically. So that whatever the baseline character model, like that's probably what it would look like if you could take a snapshot of somebody who's like maybe a pixel on your screen, like really far away that you could see maybe on Miramar, but you don't see any detail to it. They're just like kind of moving across the screen.
Yeah, makes sense.
So basically this level of detail stuff is disabled at great distances to increase your performance, because the animation, it won't really matter when you're so far away. And they said great distances. I don't know what it would be, but I imagine it's not something like 300 meters. I would imagine it's much further.
Yeah, I would bet like 800, 900.
Yeah,
something
something
that's
like
really
that.
hard to see because there's just not that far of a flat distance to be able to even see it.
Yeah. And what they said in the letter is that it means an increased performance, about 10% on Xbox One X, without negatively impacting gameplay or visual experience to any noticeable degree. So basically, the like summary of this is LOD is good for CPU performance, but it's hard on memory. So 3 levels is all they can work with currently on consoles due to memory constraint.
Yeah, and 10% doesn't seem like a lot, but I think we've said this before. Like all the stuff we talked about last week, that was like a 10% or a 20% or sometimes a 30% increase, and then this is another 10%.
Right.
So all this stuff together is adding up quick. I think it is helping.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's taken them so long, is because there was nothing that like was a 50% increase to performance, or there probably was, but that was earlier on, and then from now on it's going to be smaller, impactful things, trying to work with the current technology.
Yeah. And I think that this is also why a lot of people view the Fix PUBG campaign as kind of maybe not a failure, but something that wasn't immediately noticeable, is because they were rolling out these little 10%, 20% increases over time, over like 3 months. So we were all playing during those 3 months, and nothing was ever like a instant switch of a, wow, holy crap, the game is so much better now. That never happened. It was all just incremental increases that weren't noticeable.
Yeah. There were a few updates where it was like, oh, this feels better now. I wonder what they did. Like what exactly made it happen. But yeah, I think like boiling a frog, is that the right thing? You put them in a pot of cold water and then turn the heat up slowly, and they don't realize they're boiling or something like that.
Yeah. Until it's too late.
Yeah. So I think it's too late for us, and we've got a more performant game than previously, and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's all good stuff, and I like the transparency, like I said before.
Yeah, and if you look at the console dev letter, you'll see some GIFs of it happening in real time, so it's a little bit easier to understand. But also remember that those GIFs are they're exaggerated in the fact that they happen at a much closer distance, so that you can actually see the differences in the animation without taking a screenshot of something rendered really far away. So you can see it in happening real time.
Yeah, don't do like what I did, was browse through the thing, look at the GIFs, and say, "Oh, that looks like crap. That's awful. It's a terrible change."
Why can't you see that he's pointing at you, and then suddenly it just snaps to you? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Like, well, that should happen when it's really, really, really far away. So theoretically, you wouldn't see it.
Right. Exactly. Nice. I like this.
Yeah. Pretty neat. It was fun to read about this kind of thing. I don't really know much about animation or game making or anything like that, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this is stuff that I would never consider as even being something you could change. So it's kind of cool how they dig so deep into the code and like think of these kind of things to make more smoother performance. I would never have thought something like this was even possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something that like it kind of brought me a little bit more respect for the devs because thinking about this kind of thing and then writing your in-house, like this is part of the engine. This has to be part of the engine, like how this runs. So they built this in-house so that it would, you know, to appeal to their players basically. So it's this helped me appreciate the devs a little bit more.
I agree with that. Definitely.
Next up on the docket, there's a PTS closure on Monday, so no more Vikendi. I imagine this means that the map will come out relatively soon. Maybe they'll do another PTS, but I think the original date was supposed to be the 19th, right?
I think so, yeah. I thought it was supposed to be this month, towards the end of this month is what I heard last. It slightly irks me that they're closing it and not telling us when it's going to be available. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that means they're closing it, giving themselves some time to fix bugs before they push it. Because that's the point of the test server, is to find the bugs and report them. So maybe it's a good thing. Just would be nice to know when it's coming back.
I don't know what the closures mean, because they don't close the like test, really, do they? I never try to play it. I guess they would at some point.
They never announced that they close it, but I definitely remember some times where it was open when I felt like it had no need to be open.
Yeah.
But I don't know
just
exactly.
Like a small update rather than like a map. Yeah, I don't know.
So
but anyway,
get your Vikendi in by Monday, which is tomorrow.
Today.
So hurry up. Hurry up.
Yeah. The other thing, I was looking at the Reddit to see if there was anything interesting on there. I saw some people asking for more stats, which was kind of cool. We've heard that in the Discord too, is like people want to see, you know, better stat breakdowns, be able to have like, you know, just like an aggregation of all of their games.
Yeah, people are
in a
definitely
digestible way.
Yeah, people are definitely interested in KD, survival time, like what weapons they use. That's what I like to see. I like to see the interesting stats, like, you know, which teammates in your squad heal you the most often, or which ones pick the fights first, stuff like that.
That would be cool.
I think it was, so I'm going to give a plug here if I can remember the name of the site. I'm going to Google this on the fly. PUBGanalyzer.com. So if you go here and you put in your in-game name, and I think that it will autofill. Yep. So you click that, click analyze, and then it shows you some stats. I think you had to put your username in early for it to start recording, but for some reason it started recording when Vikendi hit for me. So I have my Vikendi stats in here, but nothing previous to that. So it only analyzed 45 matches right now. Maybe I can go back to other seasons. Yeah, there we go. All seasons. It's got all my stuff. I have 284 matches analyzed. It's got to be more than that. I know I played more than that.
284? Yeah, that's
way low, actually. But here in season 13, at least, I know that this is probably pretty accurate. 45 matches analyzed in Vikendi. So looking through these, you've got your typical stats like attacks on you, number of unprovoked attacks on you are 213. I killed 26 people from unprovoked attacks.
Wow.
50 attacks on me that I did not respond to. When I am attacked, I have a 2.81 second response time to return fire. That's pretty cool.
2.81 second?
Yeah, average response time to attacks. It's calculated from the millisecond an enemy fired on you and hit you until the millisecond you fire back and hit them. Only engagements within 10 seconds are calculated.
Interesting.
This is really cool stuff. Like it's kind of like stats that you wouldn't think of. Like when I think of stats, I think of like kills, deaths, like time alive. This is like beyond that. 7 defenseless player kills. So I killed 7 people who had no weapon. Let's see. Weapons used in fights by percent. Weapon kill success by percent. Weapon damage by percent. Weapons that killed you. Team members you play with the most. Team members you win with the most. Team members in the top 10. Team member kill count. Team member who dies first. Any guesses?
Me?
Nope. Cody. But the team member who backs me up the most in fights is Cody with 18 backup count. So it's just cool. It's like a different take on stats. And I think maybe one of the reasons why PUBG themselves aren't diving too deep into stats is because there's third-party websites like this. Like they set up their API to be able to plug in, people make these tools, and then you can go and find out your own stats. But the problem I have with that is there's no official source because none of these seem completely accurate. They all kind of give you different numbers of matches, different kill counts, different KDs. But I think if there's a way to take the sum, like the average of all of these, maybe you could come up with a pretty accurate number. Maybe. But none of them seem perfect, which is
the other thing is like, you know, it's relatively easy to be on PC and just like alt tab to a browser and check your stats. Whereas on the Xbox, it's a little bit more difficult to go to the PUBG analyzer and check everything out.
Yeah.
It would just be kind of nice, I think, for the Xbox people to have a better, you know, stat bunch in game.
Definitely. Yeah, it's fun to look at this stuff, but I always take it with a grain of salt, thinking it's not completely accurate. And I can trust PUBG itself to be the ultimate source of truth, I think.
Yeah.
So that would be nice to have on Xbox.
Yeah.
Sorry I went on the rails there. Off the rails a little bit.
No worries. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
PUBGanalyzer.com. The next thing I spotted on Reddit was this comment about fixing the loot sorting on Xbox.
Yes.
There's apparently still clothing mixed in the list. And then you've played it, so what do you think the loot sorting needs to what needs to happen on there to fix the loot sorting?
Yeah, and so it shows a side-by-side picture of Xbox loot and PC loot. And this is when you kill someone and you walk over to their box and you hit inventory. So it shows you everything that they have. And on the PC, it's a little bit smarter where it always has medkits at the top. Always. It's medkit, first aid kit, bandages, 1, 2, 3 at the top every single time if they have those items. Then it gives you your boosts. And it looks like after that, it's scopes, attachments, throwables, armor, and backpack, and then ammo at the bottom. And then all the way at the bottom are your enemy's weapons. And I know from playing PC for a very long time, it's always like this. I know to scroll all the way to the bottom if I want to get their weapon. I know that the first aids will always be at the top every single time, unless you pick up something and then drop it, and then that goes to the bottom of the list. But on Xbox, it seems random. And I don't know if it's random as in like this is the set order of randomness or like when you go over there every single time it's different. But on this picture, it shows a random smoke grenade at the top, followed by ammo, and then a helmet. And then instead of showing armor, like chest armor after the helmet, it shows clothes randomly, and then shows a backpack, and then it goes back to clothes. And then there's no meds at all near the top of the list. I can't see below this list because I can't scroll down, obviously, but I think after this would be weapons and more ammo, maybe. I don't know. And for some reason on both platforms, you can only have 140 rounds of ammo in one stack at one time, which is strange as well. That's just how it works. But yeah, there's like seemingly no good layout for the loot on Xbox. And so what I would want to see, and I think what their argument is that they should put the most valuable items at the top, like on PC, in a consistent order where you know, usually the number one thing you're going to pick off of someone is their ammo and their first aid kits. That's what I'm going for, unless they have a scope or like a sniper that I don't have. But it's always first aids first. So it's kind of annoying.
Weird to see the clothes mixed in with the armor. That's super strange. I also saw somebody saying that the drop things should always be at the very bottom of the stack.
Yes.
I don't know if that doesn't happen on Xbox, but that certainly does on PC. So that would be really frustrating if you drop like, I don't know, a bunch of mods or something on somebody's body and then they all show up in the list and rearrange everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure what dropped items do on Xbox. I think it does go to the bottom. But what I would want to see is either a user customizable thing, so you can always sort medkits at the top, followed by... So what I would want to see personally, and I'd like to hear your opinion too, I would like to see first aids at the top, followed by boosts, followed by ammo, followed by weapons. Because there's usually a good chance that someone has a weapon that I want off of them. That's just my opinion. And then actually, no, above that, I want scopes. I want scopes above that. But on top of this, what would be awesome is if they could do some kind of smart sort where it analyzes what you have and then presents those items at the top to fill in the gaps of what you don't have. So like if you don't have any first aids, those are always at the top. If you have a 5.5 weapon, the 5.5 goes at the top. And if your enemy maybe had a 45 as their secondary, but you had a 9mm as your secondary, like don't even show the 45. Put that at the bottom of the list. Like I don't care about that. So I think that would be cool if you on the fly could calculate what your needs are and put those in the list accordingly. But like, what would you like to see? Like, do you think meds at the top are a good thing, or what would you change?
Yeah, I don't think the guns should be any higher up. I think that the mods and stuff should be higher up than the guns, because I think most often I'm not switching out weapons. I'm switching like mods or scopes or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's more likely that I would pull out ammo and then mods after meds, of course. I don't know. Armor, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. I just, whatever it is, I would love it for it to be like consistent, which it feels on PC. I feel like it's a pretty good system on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm used to it. I know where to look for things. I don't get confused when I open someone's inventory.
No, right.
So yeah, I think it's solid.
Yeah. I like that. I like just knowing that every single time you open your inventory when you're looking at a box, it's going to be the same. Consistency, it's all that matters. I think you're right. Scopes are more valuable than the weapons, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of complaints about that. That's like the number one upvoted thread on Reddit right now.
It was really high up,
Yeah. It'd just be really nice to have.
It'd be cool to see.
A user adjustable thing too. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. I think that's it for the box.
Nice. Sweet. Let's jump into PS4. PlayStation Nation.
PlayStation.
PS4 also got the console dev letter, so no need to go into that a second time. Sorry, PS4, Xbox goes first, so that the same. So I was scrolling through PS4 Reddit to try and find any news, and one thread caught my eye, and it was just titled, "Let's Stop Complaining for a Second." And it was just somebody talking about how it's actually just a fun game. Like there's some issues still, but he's been waiting for PUBG to release on PS4 ever since it blew up on Steam, and it was a huge disappointment. So they're very happy that it's actually on there. It's a great game, and they believe that Bluehole knows what they're doing. So, and the best part about this is reading through the comments, all of them were positive.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah, and it was a lot of people who were saying like, Reddit's very toxic, basically, and like this kind of like this guy said, I kind of hate browsing the subreddit now because I love PUBG and every post is a moan thread.
Yeah,
which is true. Like it's tough to see all this stuff that you're like, oh, I love this game, I want to see more news about it, and then you just go to the subreddit and it's all people like, this game is terrible, like PUBG or Bluehole sucks and all that stuff. It's really frustrating to see that kind of hate when you really appreciate something. So it's nice to see that at least some of the community is taking a moment to appreciate the game that has problems but is still quite fun.
Yeah, and so early on, like it's so fresh still. Like they shouldn't be complaining yet. Like I understand it's a 1.0 release on PlayStation, but I don't know. I think give it a chance is what I gotta say.
I think it's a lot of people who just like almost like bandwagony. Like they see people complaining about it on PC over the last 2 years, Xbox over the last year, and now they get it on PS4, and the first thing they know what to do about is just complain.
Mm-hmm.
So like part of it is like game expectations. Like it's probably not up to snuff to like a AAA title, but I think some of it is like conditioning from the internet, basically, about this game.
Visiting the other subs.
Yeah, there's so many times when I like go into a stream and I see someone's opinion, like somebody posts something like in Twitch chat that is like verbatim from something that I've heard like some other streamer say or read something online. And it's like not everybody actually feels the same exact way about this. Like there are differences in what people think, but I think a lot of people are just kind of co-opting what other people say and repeating it. I think it happened a large amount to Fallout 76, actually.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree 100%. So much negativity that was just spread and spread and spread. And it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game.
Yeah.
It's
anyway.
Also the purists, I think, too, are frustrated that it's not a single player. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day and maybe another podcast. Who knows? Anything else?
I think you put something in here.
Oh, did I? I did. I put in this little fun fact. So all that negativity and people complaining, well, there's a lot of people playing it, and that's probably why. Only a select few people are complaining loudly. But a lot of people are enjoying this game because it is December's top downloaded game on all of the PlayStation Store. PUBG was the top spot, most downloaded game. So that's good to see, a nice, healthy user base on PS4. And I think, personally, that could open the door, as long as the user base is there, to some crossplay options. I really hope that happens, because that will fill the lobbies. It'll be a nice, even playing field, controller to controller. There's no reason why they shouldn't have crossplay. It's just all corporate bullcrap, you know?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Interestingly, looking at this list, Grand Theft Auto is number 3, just above Red Dead Redemption. I don't know if there was a special deal or something that caused
crazy.
Grand Theft Auto 5 to jump up in the list, but it's number 3.
That's crazy how that game just continues to be so popular.
Yeah. I mean, it's really fun, but I'm just surprised to see it.
A couple more things I just found real quick. We can pop into the PS4 section just to make it some more spice for y'all. Speaking of crossplay, one of the highest upvoted posts today is about crossplay and arcade modes being needed. They'll fill those lobbies, like we said. We'll have an arcade mode like war mode, sniper mode, all the stuff that mobile already has. People are asking for more content, and that's going to bring more people in and keep people coming back when you have that content. For sure. So they recognize that it's something that hopefully, with enough people talk about, there'll be more pressure on Sony and Microsoft to strike up a deal. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I'm guessing their focus now is getting Vikendi out on Xbox, and then we'll see some additional content, some MIDI patches or something. I don't know.
Right. That'd be nice. And then one more thing, because I know that there was a lot of SSD talk on the Xbox side.
Yeah.
People saying that if you update or upgrade your hard drive to an SSD, you'll see better performance. So someone, and this is, I don't know how scientific this testing is, but there was a thread where someone said that they got an SSD, put it in, and did some testing against the regular hard drive to see how much of an increase in performance they got. So they updated their PS4 Pro from a stock 1 terabyte hard drive to a Crucial MX500, which is a 1 terabyte SSD. And they tested the loading times, and they figured out that overall, the PS4 with the SSD was 22.3% faster than the regular hard drive. So they were seeing loading times from the title screen is the one that they were looking at specifically, and averaged out like 5 tests, 5 loads. I don't know if they talked, or if they dove into the actual loading time for buildings and stuff. Yeah. I think that might be more of a, what do you call it? It's not an objective test necessarily. It's hard to duplicate that every single time, like, because different plane paths, different drop areas,
different number of people landing.
Yeah. To keep a consistent bottom line, I think you have to use like a loading time for the title screen. But just cool to see, like, the SSD, it does help. It's less than I thought. I thought that there would be a little more speed.
22% is a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking would be a better number than that, but if I spent $50 and got an SSD, I'd be happy with that increase. That's a good amount. And
I think it's good to know going in what you're going to get.
Yeah. And like, it's not just this game either. I mean, obviously they could do things to speed up the loading for this particular game, but if you do invest in an SSD, it's going to make your entire system faster as far as loading all of the other games you play too. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Next up.
Care package.
Care package. This is your weekly care package. Send it.
Care package on the way.
Flanking.
Not
Want
the
to talk
cut of
about
beef.
flanking?
I do.
We can talk about that. Do you
All
know
right.
anything about flank sticks?
I don't. So let's not talk about that.
I feel like Cody would know.
He strikes me as a guy who would know a lot about different cuts of meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Cody.
But guess what we know a lot about? Flanking in PUBG.
Hey.
This is actually something that you and I do quite regularly. And it's funny that we both like to do this considering we like to play together, and it's not quite as effective when you have like a duo both try and flank at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, but let's just, figure out what exactly is a flank and maybe come up with some recommendations for the listeners.
Sure.
So what is a flank?
So to me, a flank is coming in from an angle, whether it's side or behind, to try to get a better angle on someone that is perhaps focused in on one particular area. So,
right.
I kind of think about it, and I think about how a lot of my kills are against people that are looking another way. So that is a very good example of a good flank. If you kill someone that's not looking at you and you have an angle on them, you've done a good job.
Right. So the kind of the necessary parts of a flank is you need an enemy focused on something, and then you reposition yourself to an angle that they're not expecting, something that gives you a little more of a little bit of an advantage when you engage them.
Right.
So this is really useful in squads when it's kind of hard to keep track of everybody, or you can stay hidden in a way that the enemy team doesn't necessarily see everybody, and you can kind of have the space to fan out and try and get behind or to the side of somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the key to attacking someone so maybe you're in a duo and you've isolated one of the enemies.
Yeah,
that's the key, is getting the numbers so you can shoot from two different angles at the same time. So that way, if one of you goes down, the other guy will finish him off.
And the other thing about that is it reduces their cover, right? Because as you close in, change your angle, it reduces the space, the area that they can stand behind cover and still be safe.
Yes, this is not Fortnite. You cannot build a wooden box around yourself. You will die.
You will die. If you play PUBG, you will die.
Yeah, you will get pregnant and die.
Exactly.
But I think this is almost kind of like a mindset, or like it's almost like
it's kind of
style
aggressive
of play. Yeah, it's something that I do without thinking of.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool, and it's a sign that you're thinking about where you are in the world and your exposure, because flanking in itself is gonna put you at risk to not necessarily the person you're trying to flank. It's also other people that might be looking your way because they're shooting.
Yeah, and it's something that it's really dangerous if you have too little information or misinformation. Like if you see two members of a 4-man squad and you try and flank, you'll probably just end up right in the middle of the other two, or face to face with the one of the last members.
Right. Yeah, it's something you need to do calculated. I think I find myself just going straight in. Maybe I see 3 out of 4 of an enemy squad and think, oh, I see this one guy, I got him. And then don't even realize that I'm exposing myself to a different angle that I didn't think about because there's a 4th guy.
That can definitely happen, but I think the really interesting thing about this is really useful for people who have a good game sense. And by that I mean they can see a situation in game and kind of figure out how the enemies are going to play it, how they should play it, how you should play it, all that kind of stuff. And without even thinking about it. So you can set up a flank really easily. If you know that the enemy is just going to basically stick around, hold their ground, then you can flank perfectly because you'll know where they'll be, and you can plan a good angle to come from to get the best advantage.
Yes.
This is especially useful when you down one of their teammates. You can start closing in. You can push up a little bit more when you can guess when they're going to revive their teammate or if they're not going to revive it. Either way, you have the numbers or whatever. it's really advantageous at that moment to try and set up a flank or to push in.
Yeah. Do you think the flanks are more effective in squads or duos? Or is it kind of equally effective? It just depends on how you pull it off.
I think it's easier to achieve in a squad, but equally effective. The nice thing about a flank in a squad is you can end up killing like 2 or 3 people before they notice if you pull off a really nice flank. There's one game on Savage. We were, not for sure going to win it, but we were in a good position to win the game. And I just happened to be behind this building trying to flank on the enemy. They came out this back door, which was directly in front of where I was looking. And I could just like spray them down as they were looking basically perpendicular to where I was towards you guys. I was just in the right place to just like and take them both out.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
It's really satisfying when you can kind of call what the enemy is going to do and put yourself in a better position. So I think the flank, while, I think both you and I kind of do it recklessly. Like it's definitely a preferred play style for both of us. Like we like to go in and kind of like try and squeeze in behind them or whatever.
Always.
But this is especially useful if you can predict the enemy's movements and have a good game sense to position yourself in that exact spot where you know will be the most effective.
Yeah. It's a skill, I think, that you'll perfect over time the longer you play. And it's also
for sure.
a big
map based too.
It is totally 100%. I would flank completely differently on Miramar than I would on Savage. But I also think communication is a huge part of it. And I think as you continue playing with the same people over and over again, you will start flanking and doing things in game without telling them, but the other teammates of yours will probably catch on to it because they know how you're going to react in a certain situation. But as you're playing,
might subconsciously adjust to it too, like maybe push in a little bit as you're flanking to be more of a distraction or something like that.
Yeah, and that's something we do. Like we just react to each other's play without explaining ourselves or saying that we're going to do it. But I think as you play with different people, if you play with a squad, especially if you have a lot of you want to make sure your callouts are precise and that you tell them what you're going to do. And sometimes they might say, no, don't do it. It might not always be the best call. Like I've been told to back down a bunch of times because I'm way too trigger happy and I want to get it done. But it's not always the smart play. You have to calculate it. You have to compare it against the position you're in. You have to make sure you don't screw over your teammates by trying to flank when they're not watching you. Communication is key, like with all things in this game.
Yeah. So you might be in a situation where you're like face to face with a team and trying to figure out whether you should flank. And there are definitely some risks involved. Like movement is a huge risk. You're being out of cover. You're not really in the best position to return fire. You might not be at an angle where your teammates can cover you or can come and revive you. So flanking can be a huge risk, and it's kind of knowing when to actually pull the trigger on that flank. That's kind of the trick.
Yeah, enemy positioning is key. Like enemy knowledge of where you are is also key. Like don't try to pull off a flank if they're looking right at you and you have no cover to get there. That's the flank. The key. The other thing with the flank is like it's not expected. Like it's unexpected. Like that's what you have to realize is like if you're looking at someone,
that's the ideal,
they're shooting at you. Yeah, it's maybe not every time, but 90% of the time or 80% of the time, try to do it before they realize that they're getting flanked. Like that's gonna put them on the back foot, and that's what you want to win your fight.
Yeah, so that would be different from like a pressuring, like when you and a teammate kind of spread out to get that angle on them. It is a flank, but when you do it in their vision, it's not that it's less effective. It's just a different maneuver, right? Like an ideal flank would be completely unaware, and you pop up and you just like gun down some people. But you can like reposition yourself, you and a teammate, to get that better angle and put pressure on them to try and get them to move out of position. You see this a lot in like 2v1 situations, where like the last person is in cover and like you have two teammates try and like fan out to get that angle. Yes. That is a version of a flank, but ideally what you would have is somebody like kind of putting down cover fire from the back lines, being the point of interest for the person that is going to be flanked. So it's a distraction, right? Not an ineffective distraction, or not one that isn't dangerous. Like, the distraction can still get the kill, obviously, but then the person who's flanking can like wrap around and try and, you know, have a little bit more freedom because they're not paying attention exactly to their movements.
Yep. It's isolation. It's finding two angles at once. Yeah. And it's just being smart, really. It's like knowing how to approach a certain situation. And that's what's really hard about these strategy discussions is every engagement, every single game on every different match. It's like everything's different. Like there's never something that's the same twice. And that's why this game is so fun. But if you take these little nuggets and kind of apply them where you see an opening to, it's going to help you in the long run. I think sorry, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really like using it when people are in buildings for too long.
Yes, definitely.
Because they tend to only be looking out one window or one direction or whatever. And there might only be one entrance to the building, so you might not get like a perfect flank, but you can at least get some different positioning and maybe call out movements or anything like that. Toss in a grenade unexpectedly.
And because
buildings blocking the vision,
exactly, their point of view is very hindered by the windows. They only have a couple options to see out of, and that's something you need to use to your advantage too. Like use your grenades, work in the back door, have someone lay down fire from behind while you push up. Try to do it so that they can't hear you. Unfortunately, the sound in this game gives you away when you walk nearby to someone. That's one thing I wish you could do is walk a little bit more quietly. But especially when breaching a building. But, you know, it's just being aware of the situation and getting those multiple angles set up. One of the things I hate having to do is fight someone that doesn't move. I get so frustrated if someone is staying in the spot and not moving out of cover, and I don't have the option to flank because maybe there isn't cover between me and them.
Or it's too far.
That's like, I get so frustrated. You probably heard me say a couple times, like, why didn't that guy peek? Like, why didn't he move? Like, please just like push. Because like countering aggressive play with aggressive play is sometimes a good idea.
Yeah.
Again, so situational. But let's talk about how to use the play zone, the blue zone, to your advantage when flanking. So I think that this is sort of along the lines of using the short side of the circle like we've talked about.
Yeah, you can do multiple things. Short side is definitely an effective one.
I think that a lot of people don't look at the blue. As soon as they're out of it, they don't look behind them. They see the blue as this invisible wall, or visible wall, I guess, that no one will approach them from because they're safe.
Yes.
But that is not true. And you can use that to your advantage.
Yeah, you can. Popping out from behind somebody in the blue is like one of the scariest and most effective things you can do.
Yes, and demoralizing as well.
Yeah. Like, where did they come from?
Yeah, like I swear no one was behind me. Like they should not be there. It doesn't make any sense. It happens a lot.
Yeah. What you can do is you can actually swing around along the circle edge and only go out of the blue when, you know, at the last minute, basically, so that you take the least amount of damage. And make sure you take that fight close up so that you can push up out of the blue so that you're not just sitting in there taking damage. But it depends on what circle, but
yeah. It's the short side also is something we've talked about, like using the side that is closer to the blue. So you've got your white ring of safety, and then you've got your blue ring. So you want to pick the side where the white ring is closer to the blue. So that's your short side. We always like to do this. Every single game at the end, we always wrap around to that side. And that in it of itself is kind of a flank, right? Because people don't necessarily expect to be hit from the side because they are focused on moving forward to safety. And you wouldn't, I definitely wouldn't expect that. So we don't often get flanked from the side, I don't think, because we're the ones always doing the flanking.
Sometimes we ambush ourselves with people ahead of us by flanking like that.
Yeah. So that's a tactic you can use at all times in the game. It's also more effective towards the end when the circles are smaller and your timing is less, a shorter timing, because you can get behind someone quick because they're focused on moving forward and hit them from the side. That's
right.
what we like to do a lot.
Yeah, and the other reason behind that was just like the speed of the blue. It gives you just way more time to fight inside the not safe zone,
right?
Before you head into the zone,
right? So, any final thoughts? Like any takeaway?
Yeah, I think it's important to communicate, as you said. Knowing when to do it is key. Although I think it's really fun to just do it.
Yeah, totally.
Try it. This is another thing where it's like, just think about your gameplay a little bit more. And I think most people will realize they're flanking at some point. It's just you might not realize when you're flanking exactly. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty intuitive thing to do, I think, for most people. But the ideal is to use some kind of distraction and to be able to get, a perfect angle on a team or an enemy and just gun them down.
Well said. Hit him from the side. Hit him from the back. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about.
Can't shoot you if they're not looking at you.
Exactly. Oh, and the best time to move is when they are shooting, because they will never hear you. They will be so focused in on whoever they're fighting against. Mm-hmm. Get one of your squad mates to flank them, pin them down, done. Easy.
Nice.
And don't stay still. Don't stay still behind a rock. Just always be moving. So many tips we can get into later, but always be moving. I see it with a lot of new players. They sit still, take their time at loot boxes, and think they're fine.
Yeah,
and they just get picked
off.
Or
try to shoot. They jump out of cover and just stand there.
Yep. The worst thing you can do is like enemy sees you in a window and you just hold your angle, and then one of their teammates just steps out from a different angle and picks you off. So keep moving. But awesome. This was cool. I like these strategy talks. This is a great new segment, I think, to add to the show to help people out with their game.
For sure.
Let's do some PCP. What do you say?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll follow me, we are now entering the personal computer place.
All right, so not a lot of updates on PC either. We've got a video from Wacky Jackie, which is enlightening as always, with his dulcet tones dropping some knowledge bombs on us. The audible distance for footsteps has increased on Vikendi, and I don't know if this is specific to this map. I haven't tested it, but the too long didn't watch video explanation is that the audible range has changed from the last time he tested, which was the 23rd of March 2018. So they found that, for example, a standing sprint, the maximum distance that you could be heard was 40 meters away. It's now 58 meters away, which is a sizable increase. Same with crouch sprinting. If you crouch and then you hold your sprint button, before it was a maximum distance of 35 meters, and now it's also 58 meters. That's huge. That's huge. And the standing run was 35, is now 57. So what does this mean? The takeaway is that the best thing to do is to stand, walk, and crouch run. Those are the best combinations of speed and stealth if you're trying to be sneaky. Pretty big change, something that they didn't document, and I'm curious if this was intentional or not. But PUBG Hawkins, who is the community manager, and he's also active on Reddit, so sometimes I go to his profile and see what he's commenting on to get some ideas for the show and to get the latest news. He said that they're looking into it. He didn't say it was a feature. He didn't say it was a bug. He just said they're looking into it. He reported it to the team. But this is a huge change. That's scary.
I mean, 57 meters is half the distance of a suppressed SMG shot.
Yes.
Which is an interesting comparison.
That's a very interesting comparison. Yeah. So be mindful of that, especially on PC. If you feel like you're getting picked off all the time, and especially on solos where people are not bothered or not being, you don't have your teammates in your ear talking. Yeah. If you're on a solo and you're moving around and trying to get a better angle on someone, and all of a sudden they just spin around and shoot you, it's because they can hear you from a further distance now. I've noticed on solos, I did actually play a few solos on Vikendi, and I was just getting melted by umps. I feel like something is wrong with the sound because I was getting hit more times than the number of gunshots I was hearing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that too, but it's just like
I've
dead.
had that in the past, yeah.
And I've only heard a couple shots. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So it could be a bug. We've also noticed like hit detection hasn't been great, whether it's no blood you see or like your bullets don't seem to do anything.
Yeah.
It could be something going on. So it could be the servers.
Part of that
I don't know.
is the level 3 stuff too. Like we're also just not used
That's
to
true.
everyone having fucking level 3 vests and helmets.
Yes, that is so true. So true. But yeah, so standing walk and crouch run. That's going to get you where you need to be fast and silent as possible.
Cool.
PUBG Lite is the next bullet on the agenda.
Isn't that mobile?
We thought so, but now it's also on PC.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's for PC, and if you click this link, and you have your Chrome browser translate for you, it's only in Thailand, and it is free to play, and it only includes Erangel, Miramar, and the training mode. And it's essentially a light version of the game that's designed to run on lower spec machines.
We should give this to Cody.
We should. So he can crank his machine up and still get decent performance.
Yeah.
The minimum specs are a Core i3, 4 gigs of RAM, and integrated graphics. It doesn't even require a discrete graphics card. The recommended specs are a GTX 660, which is a card that came out, like 5 years ago, and an i5. So what's funny, and this is just a really poor translation. This is Google Chrome doing an awful job at translating, but this is kind of funny. The quote is, "Many players may worry about the quality of game may not be very good because the desired specification is not high. But you still feel the excitement as you have experienced from PUBG Steam version, although the visualization will be improved. That doesn't make you less fun."
That's true.
It doesn't make you less fun, guys. And I dug a little deeper. So I found this because I went to Reddit and looked at PUBG Hawkins's profile. He commented on a thread that someone had posted the link to the site. And he said, "The current plan is for PUBG Lite to release only in a handful of regions, targeting players that find it difficult to run regular PUBG due to the somewhat high system requirements. And there are not plans to bring this to North America." So it runs well on integrated graphics. The visuals are more basic. I would expect, this is me interjecting here, I would expect this to be similar to mobile or similar to the emulator version, but just PC interface rather than the mobile interface. They don't expect players who can run and play regular PUBG to switch over. So that's interesting. It's a separate dev team. Players playing PUBG Lite will play against other players playing PUBG Lite. They will not be playing against PC and console. So it's completely separate lobbies.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that people who play PUBG wouldn't make the switch, especially because it's specifically for Thailand.
Yeah, it's one country specifically. Interesting. But I'd like to see if they roll it out to other places too, because there's many places in the world where PC components are extremely expensive. And it's not so easy to build a high spec machine, and they still want to play this awesome game. Now you can. So,
yeah.
And it's coming out. I think it just came out, or you have to sign up for the beta. But if you speak English and you don't speak, is it Thai?
Probably.
Is it Thai? I don't know. That's what you'll be faced with. You won't be able to play it if you just speak English, I don't think. Anyway, that's it for that. Interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
We also have the replay editor guide. So this is a document that they put out, an article on the 8th, a couple days ago, which was all about how to use the replay controls.
This is actually how they created the Vikendi intro.
Oh, cool.
Teaser trailer is with this new tech. So it uses like in-game rendering, but you can change the settings so that it's not just, what you saw in game. You can bump up the quality, the FPS, all kinds of stuff. You can change the perspective so that things in the background look blurry, gives it kind of more of a real feel or photographic view. It's pretty cool. Looks like it'll be easier to, control the replays and create neat little videos about it, which is a great thing for the community that stuff like this creates hype for the game and creates hype for the players. So it's fun.
Yeah. Really cool effects, filters and stuff. You can set up like preset tracks for like how the camera should swoop in from a certain angle.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. I mean, there's a lot of controls here and stuff that would probably take a while to learn. So that's why they posted this article to help you out, get started with it.
Right.
Cool stuff. Right. Cool stuff. I wish I had time for this. This would be really sweet to make some intros and stuff.
Yeah. Get on it, community.
Get it. This was your bullet here. Cheat detection. Caught 30,000 players using the radar hack to see players on separate output devices.
Yeah, this is pretty big. 30,000 is a pretty large number of players to still be catching.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so this was a recent find. Basically, there was people were using a separate output device. I don't know what that would be to see players, and were able to basically pre-fire angles as soon as people were, walking towards it. And PUBG caught on to it and banned a bunch of people, including 12 professional PUBG players.
Oh, scandal.
Right? Scandal. So the quote, cheating players were able to pre-fire other players, and PUBG banned them for indulging in unfair gameplay. Over 12 professional PUBG players were also banned from playing the game in the National PUBG League, NPL.
Wow.
I think what they said, this was from a timesnownews.com. I don't know how reliable that is, but that's what I saw a lot of people talking about this banning. But anyway, they said that people who were caught using the cheat were given 3-year suspensions, and people who knew about the cheating but weren't using it were given 2-year suspensions. So be aware that even if you know that somebody's cheating, that is akin to cheating, aiding and abetting the cheater. So yeah, kind of interesting.
Wow. I'm surprised it's not a lifetime ban. They literally can't come back. Like, they will always be labeled as the guy who cheated. Right? Like, there's no way to return to the scene after being caught for cheating, right? Like, no one would want to take a risk on you. No organization would hire you.
It's weird. I can't remember the guy. There was a guy in CSGO who was caught cheating and was banned.
This is the Kaylee, KQLY, for his jump shot.
I don't think he was banned for the jump shot, actually.
He's just famous for it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that kind of bad press can really follow a gamer around for a while.
Yeah. It's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah, and 3 years out, who knows if the game is even relevant anymore. So
yeah, or like the professional league. I don't know. It's tough.
I guess it is akin to a lifetime ban. It's pretty close.
It's close. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a thing that they revisit later, but it seems to me that if you're going to cheat professionally, you're probably going to still cheat professionally in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Depends on how old the person is, but yeah.
That sucks. Sucks for them, but maybe grow up and not cheat. That's what I have to say to that.
Yeah.
I got one more bullet here. The useless but interesting fact of the week. Miramar is much preferred over Erangel in the China, Korea, and Southeast Asia regions, but Vikendi and Sandhawk are the most popular. Shocking.
Preferred over popular? I don't get that.
So that just I read that as saying Erangel is not as popular as Miramar. People prefer Miramar, but they like Vikendi and Sandhawk more than both of those. So it goes from order of popularity. It goes Erangel is the lowest, Miramar, and then Vikendi and Sandhawk.
Interesting.
I would have expected Miramar to be the bottom of the barrel for every region because that's where I think it belongs personally. But yeah, that's just my hot take.
Yeah. I remember I saw somebody in one of the console Reddits saying that they got Miramar like 5 times more than Erangel. I don't think it was like a true calculation or sample size, but it was just kind of funny to see that because that's something that we brought up like when we kind of stopped playing Miramar and started going back to Erangel, as we were like, you can't not get Miramar. It just always puts you in Miramar. It always does.
It made me hate it even more when I'm forced to play it. Yeah, we'd be backing out of matches because we didn't want to play it.
Yeah, because we'd get it like 5 times in a row when we had like all the maps selected or something like that, and it was super frustrating to only like get thrown into these matches. And it's not like the lobbies were full and starting up right away. Like people were backing out of those too. Like it would put us in at like 75 or 80 or something, and then
now they're trying to get people to play it by doing daily missions on Miramar.
That was always my thing. Is that it felt like it was like being forced upon us as the new map.
Right.
Like there was some kind of code that maybe Erangel was like 30% chance to be picked and then like 70% chance to be Miramar. But that was never a real thing as far as I know.
Right.
Want to get some mobile home?
Yeah, mobile. Beep, beep.
Mobile update has not yet dropped. We talked a little bit about it last week. A little more information, possibly. Possible new game mode related to the Chinese New Year, where you kill monsters to get loot.
Weird.
Yeah,
very weird, but okay.
Could be weird. The other bit of news that I spotted was PUBG Mobile India 2019 tournament with a pretty big prize pool. I don't remember the US conversion for it. It was 100,000.
Oh, if only Cody was here.
But yeah, that's pretty neat. India's a big place, lots of people there. It's nice that they can play PUBG with PUBG Mobile and get a professional tournament for the game.
Yeah, the pro scene. That's impressive.
Pro PUBG scene.
It makes sense. There's millions and millions and millions of people that play mobile games.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I should have wrote this down. Jammy had a point about mobile players. Let's see if I can find it really quick. Million mobile players. I don't know what the keywords are to search.
I think I found it. Back to the day.
There it is.
Mobile gamers make up 88.8% of digital gamers and span all ages. By the end of 2019, 147.8 million people in the U.S. will play mobile games compared to the 91 million digital console players.
So we're showing the disparity between the numbers of consoles and the number of mobile players. That's huge. That is massive. And they're playing all different types of games. Like some people might not prefer a shooter game on mobile.
Sure.
But just the fact the pure numbers are out there it's nuts. That's almost double, right?
Almost. Yeah. It's almost 150 million compared to 91 million.
Crazy.
Very interesting. Nice fact, Jamie.
Yeah. Thanks, man. So cool. So I have recently joined the ranks of one of those mobile players.
Uh-huh.
Downloaded it on the iPad. Ready to go.
Nice.
It was... The first thing I noticed is the pure number of things you can click and redeem. It's mind-boggling. Like
that sounds like a mobile game.
Before I even started the game, I had like well over 1,000 BP before I played a single game.
Really?
Like after
you're a returning player.
Yeah, like you logged in today, you get a reward. You go to this section to even look at your missions, and like you get a reward.
Yeah.
And like there's so many menus and so many things to click that I didn't understand it all, but I redeemed it all.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more in your face as far as the missions and the stuff to do, which is cool. I think PC does a better job than they used to, but poor job overall because it's so confusing. Those menus are awful, right? Am I the only one who thinks that the missions to find what you need to do and do it is very difficult to figure out?
No, you're not the only one.
Okay, good. Because it's the menu and UI is just not good. But overall, yeah, they have some really cool stuff that the PC doesn't. We've talked about that quite a bit on the show of all the stuff that they have. But I really liked how you could demo and even put the items on your character. Like the stuff that comes in the crates, every single one of those you could preview and look at in a full like 360 rendered view where you could swipe and like zoom in and out on it and look around. Like the weapon skins are really cool.
That's so much more effective than the way that PC has it laid out.
Yes, exactly.
It's also really hard and time consuming to equip something on PC.
Yes, and like you can't do it while you're waiting in a lobby to matchmake. Like, it's all that little stuff. It's just like, why is this? Why is that a thing? Like, why is that a restriction? Like, I'm going into Vikendi and forgot to put my white pants on. Like, why can't I do it while I'm queuing up? Like, oh nope, can't access that menu.
I can tell you why. It's because it's like a day-long part of work to fix that for like this tiny little thing that they're working on other things. It's like the quality of life fix that's going to take like a good chunk of time versus being able to upgrade performance by 10% or whatever is the other thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks that is the case. It's frustrating for sure.
Yeah, it's not very high on the priority list, as it shouldn't be, but it's just kind of annoying how that hasn't been fixed yet.
Yeah, agreed.
But I feel you. So yeah, I mean, lots of places, like the skins are definitely more in your face on mobile. And I think that's just the nature of how mobile games work. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not really annoyed by it either. It's just something that was there and I wanted to comment on.
Yeah.
But gameplay is great. Like, you can go into all the same maps. You've got first person and third person. It makes you play a match on the original settings, like the full 25-minute Erangel playtime. Like, you have to play that first match. As soon as you get to level 5, you can unlock the war modes and the arcade modes, the faster game modes. And I haven't tried those yet, but that's what I was looking for. Like, I'm looking for the faster hits, like the 5-minute games, the 10-minute games, because I had to play the first round in Erangel, and I won it because it was all bots, and I felt like a god, and it was great. But I was looking for the faster game modes. I think that's what I need to keep myself interested, because when I have a little amount of time, that's when I'll go to mobile. But when I have anything beyond a half an hour, I'm going to want to go to my computer or to my Xbox or my PS4. Because it's just, for me, like personally, it's only because of the controls and how I just get a better performance, like a better performance and a better experience on PC, because that's what I like and that's what I'm used to.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's reasonable to say that.
Yeah.
But I think it does fill that quick game fix. And it's the same experience. It's the same, like, my heart did get pumping just a little bit. Even though I was playing bots, I was like, oh shit, I could win this. Like, let's do this. And I played first person. And I knew they were bots because I would drive to a completely random one house compound in the middle of nowhere on Erangel, and I would sit in the bathroom and I would just sit there, and like people would come in one after one, like one after another, to try to kill me. And I'm like, there's no way like people would know I'm here. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, all of these people are bots. Like, one after another, they would just show up. I was like, okay.
Do you remember that they denied that there were bots in the game or something like that?
That's totally, like, they're bots, 100%.
I remember Crander and D said something to me like, oh, they denied that there are bots. And I was like, so
no,
they did deny it. It was, even if they did, that doesn't matter.
No,
they're definitely bots in the game.
Yeah.
Have you seen those numbers? You don't get just like 8 kills.
Yeah, right. I finished with 11 or 12 kills, I think.
Man, you're such a god.
I know, right? I got an airdrop. I had an AWM and a Silent Scar ghillie suit, everything. First person, I think, is a lot of fun on mobile. I didn't like third person as much, because I remember playing this when it first came out. First person was much better, because you have the quick access to like look down your sight, and it just feels a little more fluid than third does. So, but I think third might be more popular, but I like first more.
We'll have to get Tom on that.
Yeah.
Tom, is third person more popular?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you guys in mobile? Like, what do you play? Is it all third or is it first? I'm interested to find out.
Yeah. And what game modes? Like, is there an arcade mode that you particularly like, or is it just like the quickened version of normal or whatever? Yeah.
Like, where should I go? Because like they have war mode and they have like clan challenges and they have crew challenges. Like, there were so many different things that I had a hard time figuring out what was what. Because I'm one of those people that goes through every single menu before I start, because I need to know, like, what are my settings? Like, what are all the options available to me? Like, I want to familiarize myself with the interface and with all the options before I jump in. And it was just a complete overload. I had such a hard time figuring out what was what. And I think it was just because, like, the skins are the priority. They're, like, in your face. And then there's just so many options available to you that I kind of got lost in it. But the game was fun. I have to say, like, the graphics are absolutely incredible for a mobile game. Like, I still can't get over that. That, like, not that long ago, we had crappy little flip phones and like, you know, PlayStation 1s and NES before that. Like,
you're such an old man.
I know, dude. I have a full mobile PUBG experience in my pocket, and it's nuts.
Yeah.
So I had a good time. It was fun, but I would like to play with actual people and not bots, because that wasn't that fun for that reason. But I can see how this is the same experience on PC and mobile, PC and console. So I want to get in with you guys. So that is a nice segue into when is the next mobile tournament? When is the next community night? I think we got to set one up. So look at the Discord. I think this week we'll announce the dates. We've got a PC night coming up, and then we have a mobile night coming up as well. We'll let you guys know when that is, and I'll post it on Twitter. I'll post it everywhere. So just watch out for that date.
Very cool.
Nice. So how do we end this? I forgot how we ended this.
Bling it?
Do we hotline bling without Cody here?
I think so.
I think so. So we make that hotline bling?
Bling, bling, bling.
Could only be one thing. Yowza.
You have new messages.
Hey, Last Crisis here. I'm just getting pumped up, amped up for the tournament this afternoon. And staring at the Xbox, not fully connecting. All I could think to myself was like, Blue Hole and Xbox is like a marriage made in heaven. All right. Good luck, everybody.
This is the tonsil-less ghost of Cody. The kingdom of the beard faces sends their regards. Blessings of bountiful smoked meats be upon you. Oh, and by the way, don't ruin my show, you fucks. If you do, I will haunt the halls of Discord till the end of days. Love you! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark.